What's up, everyone? Welcome into episode 18 of Around the Felt, our Week 5 preview. I am your host, Colin Tong, the Glizzy Gladiator, along with my friend Reagan here.
Wow, you're choking on your words like you choked on those dogs.
Yeah, it's not a good start.
He didn't choke on him. He got him down good.
I got him down.
He got him down. He just got him down too quick and hit the pull the trigger mode.
We're recording this Friday morning. I can't wait for the punishment to come out this weekend. You'll see there was a big fuck up on my end, not accounting for the fact that the Phillies were up 7-0 as the home team, so there was no bottom ninth. So we really had to get it down in the top.
Some would say Glizzy mode activated.
Glizzy mode was activated. We really had to force it down a little more than I hoped for.
What do you mean we? I didn't do that. That was all you, buddy. I wasn't
Reagan did feed him one.
Yeah, I was in there.
That is true. You did feed me one.
And at the end, he had it half down, and I just walk up with my fist and shove it down his gullet. And he's like, oh!
We should have Lady in the Tramp, one of those.
Glizzies. I was trying to deal with Drock. I was like, hey, Drock, why don't you bring that... Drock, why don't you make... I don't know what I'm saying. Just forget about it.
You. Now you're choking
on
your
now
words.
I'm choking on my words. You'd have thought I was the Glizzy Gladiator.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's get into some news. Not a ton going on right now, but J.C. Jackson traded back to the Patriots after he got benched in L.A.
What did I say? What did I say?
Reagan did call this.
I didn't think it would happen this soon.
Yeah, you almost thought that it was going to happen the offseason, got cut.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't think it was going to happen this soon, but I said watch, he goes back to New England. Because it does happen a lot with these guys. I mean, Trent Brown's the one that comes to mind right away.
Who's the fucking edge rusher? Oh my God, he was really good at the
Noy?
Pats. No, well, Van Noy happened with as well, but he went.
About the guy on the Browns?
Yes, he went to the Browns and he went back. Who the fuck was that?
Jamie
Collins.
Mm-hmm. Jamie
Collins
yeah.
did it with.
Jamie Collins, yeah.
They do it with offensive linemen all the time.
It happened. It just happens with the team a lot in general.
Yeah, because Bill's a genius. He's like, I'm not going to overpay. He knows when to let guys go, and then when the price is low, he's like, yeah, I'll bring him back because he did well in my system.
Oh, and speaking of breaking news, I just got some more breaking news. Just looking at the phone. Chase Claypool, a guy we were talking about, highly debated last week, has been traded to the Giants. No, I'm kidding. Dolphins. I just wanted to see how you'd react.
Oh, I was going to fucking...
No.
What the fuck are we doing?
No, he got traded to the Dolphins. I'm trying to pull up... I don't know if the compensation's been announced yet.
Wow, that's our first live breaking news. That is our first live breaking news. That's pretty dope. I like it.
Yeah, but yeah.
All right, you look at the compensation. I'll go on my little...
it looks like... here we go. The compensation for the trade. Miami is moving from a 2025 6th-round pick to the Bears for the Bears 2025 7th-round pick. So Miami, the Bears essentially just gave up their...
Just getting rid of them. You moved... The Dolphins moved down a little bit.
Yeah, the Dolphins basically just don't have a 6th now, and the Bears have 2 6s, so...
Bears flipped a 2nd for a 7th.
Yeah.
Classic. Way to go, Ryan Poles. Hey, but, I mean, the good GMs do cut their losses when they realize it's just dead weight.
He's also, not going to get on the field in Miami. He
also doesn't fit, 4 or 5. He doesn't fit their offense. He's a completely different receiver. But, I
guess he gives them that big red zone target, though. Because if you think about it, Tyreek, Waddle, Berrios, they're 1 through 3.
Yeah, they're all
chosen,
speedsters.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a different element, but how does he fit? Because he's not necessarily known for his route running,
He might end up just being a red zone target.
We'll see.
Bring him around the goal line and give him a fade.
Mike McDaniel's a genius, so we'll see what he comes up with.
Definitely good for Claypool. That's a big move for him.
That's a good spot for him.
That's great.
It's a high-powered offense. Back to J.C. Jackson. So the Chargers paid him a $7.8 million signing bonus to facilitate the trade. So New England only has to pay him $1.6 million the rest of the season, which is a bag of chips.
And they needed him to make a move after Gonzalez.
Yeah, because Gonzalez tore his labrum out for the season. And then the final 3 years of Jackson's deal are non-guaranteed. So it's classic Bill bringing him back. If J.C. Jackson still sucks back in the Patriot system, they fucking cut him.
I feel like he's going to be good. I just feel like
they're good again.
I feel like he's going to come back and be pretty good.
Yeah, I could totally.
He can't be any worse.
Yeah, he was pathetic for LA. But other news: JT commits to the Colts for the rest of the season. They were asking him, "Are you going to play this and that?" He goes, "I wouldn't be here if I wasn't committed to the team. I know the team needs the contract. Will be pushed to the offseason. He's most likely playing this week. Reagan, what are your thoughts?
Well, now that we finally have some clarity, it took a long time because this is something we were talking about
since what, episode 2?
Every episode was in the breaking news segment because something different would come out. But for those of you who drafted him in fantasy, I took him a couple spots, had him in a couple dynasty leagues. I'm so happy because you got such a value on him in the drafts. Now you're getting an RB1 that
Agreed.
you drafted in like the 7th, 8th round.
I took him in both my redrafts.
Yeah, no, it's huge. And then those of you who got stuck with him in best ball, now that's looking good too. So I fully expect him to take over that backfield and be a like 80 to 90% snap type of guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the threat of Richardson, who already has 4 rushing touchdowns, running that option, it kind of can hold off some of those ends and it can create more lanes for JT. So I think it's good to have. I mean, you saw how dominant he was with an immobile quarterback. Now you put a mobile quarterback next to him, you can almost get more creative out of the shotgun, not just from under
And
center.
look at Zach Moss. I mean, Zach Moss has had a couple good fantasy games, and he's not nearly as half the back that Jonathan Taylor is. So
yeah, it's a good point. I mean, although they do draw the Titans this week, very good run defense. So if you have JT first game back, I wouldn't expect him to have a huge game. I wouldn't expect him to run for over 100.
I'd still play him though.
I'm still playing him. So
Yeah,
I'm excited
him as
to
a
see.
flex.
I also don't want to be the guys like, oh, bad matchup. I'm going to wait on Jonathan Taylor, and then maybe he does pop off because he's Jonathan Taylor. But if he doesn't have a big week this week, don't panic.
Yeah, I'm
First
playing him
game
with
back,
lowered
tough
expectations.
matchup. Yeah.
The same with another guy who's back too. With Kupp.
Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's practicing fully. Seems to be like he's a go, which is huge. Now everyone's interested to see how does Kupp and Nakua work together.
I think it'll be
Nakua's
fine.
been getting like a ton of fucking targets. That usually Kupp's getting those 15 to 20 targets.
Yeah, but we've seen Stafford have Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp both.
No,
for
yeah,
fantasy,
Stafford's
so that's
like-
why I'm not worried about it. And Stafford looks healthy and he's moving the ball. I mean, he's throwing for over like 300 yards a game. So
Yeah, fantasy wide
gotta
receiver.
think that-
Like if you have any Stafford wide receiver in fantasy, you're pumped because he just produces
I
dominant
think those
seasons.
targets for Puka are going to have to go down.
They'll go down.
Oh yeah, they'll go
but,
down.
like,
Well, right now he's like a wide receiver one.
Well,
I think
let's
he
think
goes down to like a high end flex option or like a low end wide receiver too, which is still fine.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I didn't draft him, so it's like you're just a waiver wire guy at this point.
Yeah, he was a waiver wire guy, and
it's
also
not
at
like
the
it's
same
that
time,
big of a deal.
he's still going to get his. Maybe he's not going to get 15, 20. But I
Maybe he
think
gets 10.
I think he's still getting 10 to 12 because
Yeah.
Kupp's probably taking away those targets from Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have 2-2, you're probably not that happy.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Van Jefferson should be on waivers. Tutu, I mean, you could stash him, I guess.
Van
in case
Jefferson
of
will still
injury,
be good
but-
for NFL because he's just the burner on the outside.
Yeah,
It's
he's
not
all right.
like-
He's all right.
It's
Go
not like
Gators.
Nakua or
Former
Kupp.
Gator.
He'll be like a hit or miss kind
Yeah,
of guy.
I don't think his role is going to change. I think it just mainly hurts Tutu Atwell because Van Jefferson's still going to be playing a ton on the outside.
Yeah.
But not good for fantasy. But those two are you only can play Kupp and Nakua. And hold Tutu though. Don't just drop him.
Yeah, I wouldn't drop Tutu.
because he's been good.
Yeah,
so
see
wait
what
and
You
see.
could drop Jefferson. He's not a volume receiver.
I don't even think anyone really has Jefferson anyway.
I did in one
He
league.
hasn't been doing anything.
It was a very deep bench league, and I had him stashed, but yeah, I ended up dropping him. All right, that wraps up the news. Joe, what do we got for questions?
All right, start off from Max. With the Bears' win last night and a good game out of Justin Fields and that Chicago offense, as an unbiased Giants fan, at what point during the year does your mindset switch and you want to lose for Caleb? As a Jets fan, I was rooting to lose just around the halfway point in hopes for Trevor Lawrence. Sometimes you got to root for what's best for the team's future.
It's a good point, Heath. I will say that although the Giants have looked awful, you can't defend them right now.
No, defend him. Come on.
You can't. No, I can't. I still believe in their coaching staff and the talent on this team, getting Barkley back and Thomas back, that the schedule softens up throughout the rest of the year. I mean, they had a brutal start. Softens up the rest of the year, that I think they're too talented a team to pick a first overall. Like with the team like the Bears or the Panthers or the Broncos or the Cardinals. I don't see it happening for Caleb. But the real question becomes if they land in that 7 to 10 range in the draft, where you're not getting Caleb, but
You're not getting May.
But if you're that bad, that means Jones did not play well this season, and then you're like, fuck, did we make a mistake with the contract?
Yeah.
Then you're like, okay, do I pull the trigger on a guy? Are you confident enough in Drake May to move up to try to get him? Or are you confident in Michael Penix Jr.?
And you probably would have to, you think you'd have to move up from Michael Penix? I don't.
No,
I think you
it
might,
depends.
I think you might be able to get him
It
there.
depends. I mean, it's still very far out. We don't know how it's going to shake
Well,
out.
yeah,
There's a lot of
that's
quarterbacks.
There's a lot of great quarterbacks.
There's a lot of Quinn Ewers, Bo Nix. There's a lot of
Bo.
guys. Shador Sanders going back to Colorado.
I don't think. Yeah.
There's a lot of guys, right? We don't know how it's going to shake out, and everyone's bored. I think it's going to be one of those years where it's like 2018, where there's all those quarterbacks at the top.
I think
And you're
they'll
everyone
probably be
has their own
5 in the
opinion.
first round
Some
at least.
people are like, oh, Darnold should go first. Some people were Baker. Some people were Rosen. Some people were Allen. I think it's going to be one of
kinda
those
know who's
years
won,
where
but the
after
rest.
Caleb, yeah, exactly. It's going to be
I think
everyone's
Drake
going to have.
Mays too.
You think
a
he's
lot.
solid
Yeah.
lock?
I think Mays too, but who knows how the draft process shakes out.
I don't think a rookie, like with how bad that line is, I just don't think, like, Caleb Williams obviously awesome, but like how much is he going to, like, you don't want to see Caleb
Yeah, but you're
Williams
not-
I think
play
that would
No,
be
but-
basically saying we're hitting the total reset button.
Yeah, and the thing,
On the team.
and then you use Jones
Yeah.
as the bridge quarterback for 2024 because you can get out after next year and only have
Yeah.
like a $17 million dead cap hit for 25.
And then if he does end up turning it around, then you're in a good spot because it's never a bad spot to
But
have two
hypothetically, if
quarterbacks.
you
Yeah.
get the number one pick, like, are you really going to bench him for a year? Like, because usually you
Oh
always
yeah,
see
when you
those
bench
guys-
Caleb Williams for a
Yeah.
year, that's a good point.
If you get the-
You,
if no,
you
if
play
they get-
those guys.
If the Giants somehow got the number one pick, and I think that would only happen if they just had brutal, like Saquon's out for the year,
mean, we do have
Thomas
the
is
worst
out for the
offense in the
year,
league
like
right now.
I would think Daniel Jones would have to be out for the year for them to actually get
yeah,
them the
like
first
it's
pick.
it's a insane hypothetical. You draft Caleb, you trade Jones to a quarterback desperate team. You don't get a
Well,
ton
it'll be the
out
same
of
way
him,
that we were saying about the Cardinals. You
yes.
trade Kyler.
Yeah, you trade Kyler, you take Caleb. Like
Yeah.
that's how it has to go. But yeah, that's the real question with the Giants. I don't think they'll be that
But
bad.
it's another
but-
thing where it's like we were saying with Kyler, who wants to take on the contract?
Yeah, but with Jones, like
It's easier to get out of.
I don't
I
know.
could see, like,
Yeah,
the
it
49ers or
seems
someone taking
easier
that
to get
one.
out of.
Jones?
Imagine him in that offense.
Why
Yeah,
would
but-
they? What?
Yeah, but why would they take on the money when Purdy's doing like
Yeah.
Purdy
Purdy's
hasn't
better.
Purdy hasn't lost yet, and Purdy
Well, yeah, but every
Is getting
quarterback's
paid-
going to look good in that offense.
But, like,
yes,
why would they?
but Purdy's getting
but
paid
why would-
$800K.
yeah, that's true.
You
and
know?
also he's looked good. Like there's no reason for them to make a change.
Yeah, they have good
unless
chemistry
it's
going
like
right now.
a top two quarterback.
Now,
and
do I
somehow
think-
they can get Mahomes?
Do I think Jones is more talented? Yeah, but like to take on that contract when you're paying Purdy $800K and they
Yeah,
have
and
good
he's getting the
chemistry and they're
job
winning,
done.
Yeah,
they
well,
haven't
yeah.
lost since he's been the starter. Besides when he got hurt, like they wouldn't fuck that
Well,
up.
I'm saying, like, after the season, like, if Purdy just, it proves that he can't take him, like, over the hump.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'd be more like. I mean, I think it'd be more likely like a team like the Vikings that
But-
have an aging Kirk would let like. It doesn't seem like they're gonna bring him back. Maybe they do
But-
for a 1-year deal. Like I don't know, a team like that.
Yeah, we'll see. But you didn't really answer his question. When do you change your mindset?
Well, I think he mentions if you're like. I think he texted me. He's like if you're like 1-8, 1-9.
Yeah, like when do you
Then
get to
yeah.
the point that you want them
I
to?
guess like what he said, the halfway point.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like if you're because you guys are.
I'd
Odds
say
are you guys
1
are
and
going to be 1-5 because
Yeah,
unless
'cause
you
we
really
play
think
the
you're going to beat
Bills
the
and
Dolphins
the
or the
fucking
Bills. So at
Dolphins
1-5, you start to have thoughts, but you still are like, all right, it was the Dolphins and Bills.
yes.
The schedule gets
And
lighter.
then it gets lighter because then you play Washington twice, you play the Raiders, you play the Patriots, you play the Jets, like all in like
Whoa,
a
whoa,
6-week
whoa.
stretch. I'm just being honest.
Well,
like
then
that's
we still have to play the Eagles one more
yeah.
time.
You got to play the
two more times.
You guys
and
got to play the Eagles twice. You got to
Cowboys
play the
one more.
Cowboys. You've already played the Niners. You know you got to
Yeah.
play the Rams. I mean it lightens up down the stretch, but still like they might dig themselves too big of a hole that they can't make the playoffs. But then they're sitting in maybe that.
yeah, which is
pick 10
which is
range.
almost worse because
Which
if
is-
you're going to miss the
no
playoffs,
man-
you
which
want to
is
be
no
the
man's
worst team.
land.
Yeah, because that's a bitch. Because then
So
you're
the
like,
Jets were last year and probably going to be this year.
Yeah.
No man's land.
then you're like, okay, do we take another offensive tackle, kick Neal inside to guard, or do we try to target a receiver?
Well, if you get what Don LaGreca wants, you cut his ass.
got his ass. You win the Super
Yeah, that
Bowl.
was-
Boo his ass. I
You
love
see
Donnie.
him in the streets?
Boo his ass.
I hate when players do this.
Yeah, no, I
All right.
fucking love Don LaGreca.
Imagine little like Tubbs Don LaGreca saying that to Evan Neal's
Whoa,
face.
don't call him Tubbs. We want to get Donnie on the
Hey.
show.
I do not
Yeah.
want to get Donnie on the show. You can speak for yourself.
I want to get in an argument
Come
with
on,
Donnie.
Michael K. show.
Don will
You
be
do a
like,
good job.
I'll boo his ass. And Colin's like, oh yeah, you want to fight?
Who can boo him louder, Don? Let's find out.
Who is he to think that he's a lion?
Who is he to think he's a lion?
And this is coming from a lion.
Boo his fat ass.
I know that's the best part.
Yeah, calling him the fat. I watched that clip so many times. It was so funny.
I was Evan Neal. I'd just be like, this
No, we were
fucking guy's
listen-
calling me a fat ass.
Reagan, we were listening to it the
Fat-
other
fat
night,
guy.
and
I
I'm
know.
like, this is Donnie. You're like, dude, that's not Don LaGreca.
Because I was shocked that somebody on the radio would say
call him a
that.
fat ass. I'm like,
Especially an ESPN
Michael K.
employee.
Michael K. show. They
Especially 'cause
they
it's an
say some
ESPN
out-of-pocket
show.
Shit.
No, they do. Michael K doesn't give a fuck. Don
Yeah.
LaGreca doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, clearly not.
Yeah,
he was
they
like,
don't care.
you boo his ass.
You boo his fat.
No, when you call him a fat ass, I was like, all right, now that can't be real.
Yeah,
That's why I
know.
didn't think it was him. I figured
Well,
it was
if
some,
you
like,
watch
fan.
the clip, dude, his face is like beet red, and he's just freaking out.
I'm gonna go home and rewatch that clip. That's all time, bro. It's an all time rant.
All right. Next, Max had a start bench cut, and it's JT, Brees, and ETN.
For this week or for season long?
Season.
Probably season long.
Yeah, we'll go
fantasy.
season. JT, Brees, ETN. JT's coming back from injury. ETN is disappointed. Brees hasn't gotten the volume, but Brees should be getting the volume now.
And
'cause
also
it's clear
coming
as
back from
day.
injury.
Coming back from injury. They also have had a tough schedule to start the year.
But he's looked good. That's the thing.
They're not
Brees
putting
has
him
looked
on a
so
snap
But he
good.
just hasn't gotten the volume.
Yeah.
Has he gotten
And
more than like 10 carries a game?
No. And and the fact that he's like had over 100 rushing yards against the Bills with like limited work. He's looked so explosive.
Yeah, but that was also like
But
that
ETN
long
also
run.
gets. But that's my point. Like the fact that he's getting these long runs and he's.
Yeah, that's good. But ETN also, like the Jaguars' offense as a whole has been slow, but we expect
Someone's
them to pick it up.
ETN, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was
That was so funny.
I was
when Eli
like,
said that.
It's like, dude, he's coming off of an ACL tear. Of course, he's out of shape.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know, dude.
That's a great question.
That's so
If
tough.
that's a great problem to have if those are your three running backs still.
Gun to my head, start bench cut. I'm gonna start Jonathan Taylor. I'm gonna bench. Oh, fuck me.
I'll go.
I'm gonna bench ETN. I'm gonna cut Brees.
I'm gonna start Jonathan Taylor. I'm gonna trade Brees and I'm gonna cut. Right, keep trade cut. So I'm gonna cut ETN
Keep trade cut of the start bench
because
cut.
ETN's
it
been
is.
getting all the volume and really
he's,
hasn't.
he's the
He's just a-
idiot.
yeah, he's an
a
idiot.
moron. Okay.
What? Start bench cut.
It's the same
Oh
thing.
wow.
I said keep trade cut.
I'm gonna bench Brees. Yeah, I'm gonna bench Brees, not trade Brees. So yeah, I'm gonna cut ETN, and that's strictly because he's the one getting all the volume right now, and he's really not producing. So it's not a good sign. Like at least with Taylor, it's like alright, he's coming back, and you know what he can be, and this offense has looked good. And then with Brees, he's already looked really good, and he's been limited. So it's kind of the easy choice for me.
Yeah, I just think that the Jets' offense is limited with Wilson at the helm, and I think the Jaguars have a higher ceiling in terms of scoring output.
Yeah.
So that's why I lean ETN. But
Well,
I'm not
we are
super
limited with
confident.
Wilson, but our offense is a lot better with Brees than without Brees because once he left last year, that was when Zach Wilson was at his worst.
Yeah.
That offense is totally different with Brees versus without Brees, which is the case for a lot of offenses. It's like
great.
having a good running back versus having not a good running back, you
I mean,
know,
just look at the fucking Giants, bro.
limits you.
Like their offense is just so not creative. They can't run the ball. It's so predictable because you don't have Barkley as that threat. When you don't
No,
have
we'll
Brees
trade you
Hall,
Dalvin Cook.
You don't have Brees Hall as
want
that
Cook?
threat, and you're starting Michael Carter. Like, you know.
Or Dalvin, Mr. Efficient Cook.
Oh God, Dalvin sucks all of a sudden.
Alright, well, the punishment idea he had was the loser has to eat dog food on all fours on a dog bowl.
You want to eat some pug chow?
It's pretty fucked. I've thrown up 2 weeks in a row from punishments. That'd be another one if I lost.
That would be an interesting one.
That would
I'd
be
love
an
to see you
interesting
like
one.
you and the pug just like battling it out for pug food,
Oh, that would, yeah.
and you're both like snorting like little piggies, and you're like.
We'll keep that one in the back pocket. We might pull that one out.
Yeah, if you want to come and chef up some dog food for us, we'll let you come on.
It's really not that hard.
I'll have a whole chef's outfit on and be like, here you go.
Well, we
Yeah, I
chef
feel
it up
like it
for
would
the
be a
pug.
lot worse if it's just not kibble. It's like the actual. Like,
No, we give him like, you know, like the dry food. But
yeah,
then
the dry food wouldn't be.
He's
that
a
bad.
picky motherfucking pug. So we put like some like sirloin.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah,
Sometimes we give him the filet mignon.
That fat
packet.
fuck, yeah, you definitely
Put
know
it
you
in
probably
for like,
fucking
well, like the wet
15
dog.
Are you
seconds.
sure that
Yeah, it's the
dog's-
wet- It's the wet food, yeah.
I don't know
But
if that
it's
dog
filet mignon though, so it must
He
taste
doesn't
pretty
seem
good.
like a picky dog with the size of him.
He's picky. He's picky now, just because he's sick of it. He's like, give me like the gravy. He likes
Yeah.
gravy.
Colin's like, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I can't finish my steak. I'll just toss him a full steak in his bowl. Oh, I can't finish all these donuts. Toss him a few donuts in the bowl.
I don't eat that
Fat
much
shaming
fat
his
ass.
dog is fucked up.
Wow. Wow. We do not have Don LaGreca credit to be saying that shit. That's crazy.
Boo his fat ass.
All right. Next from Jared, he asks, "Is the Panthers Bears trade last year already one of the worst trades of all time?"
Very interesting question. Hard to tell.
Yeah,
It's still very
way too
soon,
early.
But I mean, it's a great question to ask after DJ Moore goes for over 203 touchdowns, and it's been leaked that the Panthers are dying to trade for a number one wide receiver. Like they didn't just trade theirs away.
Well, they
I
had
guess-
to, in
I guess.
fairness.
Yeah, the Bears were probably like, we're not trading to you unless we get DJ Moore.
Yeah, I don't blame
And,
him.
I mean, it's smart because they knew the Panthers were desperate for a quarterback. But like early returns, Panthers 0-4. Young has struggled. I don't necessarily blame it on him. Like the receivers are not getting open that much.
They're also just like bubble wrapping the crap out of him.
Absolutely.
Like you see what Andy Dalton was. They let Andy Dalton like throw it downfield, and then Bryce Young's just Never gets to.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't think you could call this the worst trade till a couple years from now because you just got to see how Bryce Young develops. I mean, we've seen quarterback. Like, it wasn't like Trevor Lawrence was this beast his rookie year. It's not like Peyton Manning was this beast his rookie year. It's not like typical what C.J. Stroud's done so far. And even, I mean, Anthony Richardson hasn't been elite, but he's definitely, like, having a great rookie season as well. Like, what these guys are doing so far is not typical for rookie quarterbacks. So it's just making Bryce Young stand out a little bit more. Because I feel like if they weren't doing as well, we wouldn't be, like, questioning it as much. And also the fact that when DJ Moore goes for 230, it definitely doesn't make it look good either.
Yeah. But, I mean, essentially, if the Panthers were to have the number 1 overall pick that went to the Bears, and then the Bears can take Caleb Williams, and Bryce Young doesn't pan out, and, like, his ceiling's like a mediocre quarterback who gets hurt because of his size, then yes. It's still early to tell. There's still so much time. Like, you need to give a quarterback at least 3 years.
Imagine if the Bears, like,
I think.
Imagine if they get, like, 2 and 3 and they just go, like, Reggie Wayne Jr. Or Marvin.
Oh my God, Reggie Wade! This guy does not know college ball.
I know.
Boo is badass.
I know Colts ball apparently, but not
Reggie Wade Jr.
That's crazy.
wrong Colts receiver.
Fucked. You should cut that out, brother.
Wow,
That's
my
fucked.
God.
No, I'll leave it in.
Yeah, so they'll go Reggie Wayne Jr. and like Joseph Adai Jr. and the fucking stats.
Maybe get a little bit of
Peyton
Peyton
Manning
Manning.
Jr.
Has Peyton Manning been playing for Texas yet or not yet? But if they get between him and then Brock Bowers, imagine that offense if you just give Fields 2 more insane weapons.
Okay, now that would be pretty sick. But I'm not gonna lie, if they pick 2 or 3, new regimes coming in, probably gonna get rid of Fields regardless. You probably go Drake May.
So if they finish like 5 or 6 wins, Fields the rest of this year looks like pretty decent. Like, what do they do if the Panthers get the 1 pick?
See, that's a good question. Like, say the Bears are picking 8th as their own pick, but the Panthers are 1.
Yeah.
And Fields, Fields has been playing really well the past 2 weeks, but then again,
If he
it was
keeps that
Denver
up,
and Washington.
no.
Like, Washington was allowing more than 30 points per game, and I mean, of course, Denver let up 70 to the fucking Dolphins, right? So, and
Hopefully
they still blew
this
that
week.
game. So let's not act like, I mean, I don't think Fields is their biggest issue, but like the first couple weeks, it was pathetic. He's missing open receivers. He's not reading the defense. Now he's like he seems like he's playing more comfortable. He's scrambling more. I still think if you're at number 1, like people are saying he's Caleb Williams the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, like better than Trevor Lawrence was coming out. So I don't think you could pass on that just because you have a guy that looked okay. But I mean, let's be honest. He's 5-25 as a starter. Granted, a lot of that's not on him. But he's struggling with the process. He missed some throws last night that he should have hit, and they could have played way better, scored more points. I mean, they hung 40, but Commanders look pathetic. I think you still take Caleb. You trade Fields, get what you can, and then at 8, you see what you got on the board. You definitely need pass rushers. They had 2 sacks going last night, then they had fucking 5 because Commanders' offensive line is so bad. And then maybe you get a pass rusher, maybe you get another offensive lineman, maybe you get him a weapon, but you can't pass on Caleb, in my opinion, in no circumstances.
Well, yeah, and at this point, even if the Bears end up being like you said, 8-9 range, like even if they somehow are like 15,
we can agree they're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a top.
But I'm saying even if they
right?
somehow get like close and they just continue to win, and they get like 15 per se. And the Panthers still end up like with 1 or 2, you have to consider it.
You have to.
So
because that means a lot of your young
also
players showed a lot of promise this
like,
year.
The package that they'll get offered for that 1 pick for Caleb Williams.
Well, you'd probably get. I'm not gonna lie. You'd probably get 3 years worth of first round picks,
at least,
and also
like plus more.
Yeah,
and you could still trade Fields too and get a decent package, but it's not going to come close.
Because think about how much they get.
And you also got to consider Fields is going to be going into year 4, so you're going to have to decide. You're going to have to decide soon. Also, 5th-year option comes in. Like Fields is already in year 3, so. You got to decide also
you
not only are you passing on the future quarterback, but you're also going to be having to pay Fields on top of that.
You have to decide that like this upcoming offseason if you're picking that up. And I mean, I'd assume they'd probably get a first round pick. They'd definitely get a first round pick for Fields.
It really depends how this season goes.
If he continues playing,
it really depends how this season goes.
Fucking the Colts gave up a first round pick to get Carson Wentz. After he led the league in interceptions and led the league in sacks taken,
that's what I mean.
Despite playing 12 games. Like Fields would net a first round pick.
You would think, yeah,
especially
because he's still on that rookie contract.
Yes, you have another year on the rookie deal, and then you have the 5th-year option, which isn't breaking the bank. No. And then he's still young. I mean, he's still 24.
One would think they would get a first rounder at least.
Yeah, but I don't think you pass on Caleb if you have the first pick. No circumstance.
All right, what do we got next?
Jared also wants to know, is Jalen Waddle just bad at football?
Well, he was concussed. and then also, no, I mean, he's obviously good at football. He's just like in an offense where he's not the number one option, so.
Well, I mean, he did have, what do you have, like 1,100, 1,200 last year?
He's phenomenal.
Dude, he's
yeah,
gonna
but
be
if you
fine.
actually look at Waddle, like I'm assuming that's from like a fantasy perspective he's talking about, and that's why he's saying that.
Yeah.
If you look at his stats from last year, like most of the games, he either had a dud or he went off, like completely went off. There was like no middle ground with him.
he's
Either's
streaky.
like, he's so streaky. He's either
streaky.
dropping like 20, 30 fantasy points or like 6 or 7. There's no
he's
like
the kind of player
12,
that can
13
take one
middle
to the
ground.
house off like a freaking
And exactly. So that was why. So he's such a boomer bust guy, and so far he's just been bust, concussion, bust. So I wouldn't trade him. I'd just hold him and wait. I mean, I assume there's big days ahead. He's got a good matchup this week for fantasy, so you'd assume.
Hey, yo, the secondary is not our problem. But
Yeah.
But
I mean, still.
Deontay Banks has been
He's been great.
Dude, he's been great.
Is he going to be on Waddle?
They're not going to shadow
Yeah.
Waddle and Hill. I doubt it. I think they're just going to fucking line him up. But yeah, I mean, secondary has been our least of our concerns.
All right, so don't start him then.
I know, I'd still start him because, it's the fucking Dolphins.
Yeah.
I mean, that
I don't
offense
know, they
could
might be
explode
running
any
it a
week.
lot.
Wink Martindale's like, oh, I sleep like a baby. I wake up, I cry, I go to the bathroom, I go back to bed every 2 hours just thinking about this offense.
Oh,
Oh.
Oh,
wake.
Winky.
Well, you better get some
Wanky,
sleep, buddy.
whoa. That's crazy.
Hey, yo.
All right, and his punishment idea is do the bring Sally up push-up challenge.
That'd be good, but I don't think Reagan can do it.
Well, what I was saying is, like,
Explain
even if I...
the challenge for the...
So, like, there's a
listeners who
song
do not
where
know.
it's like, bring Sally up, bring Sally down. Like, every time it says up, you get up in the push-up, and then every time it says down, you go down, but you hold it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like a 3.5-minute push-up
See, I don't
challenge.
hate that. Like, I think it would be good, but I also don't think it would be funny enough because this guy's, like, too jacked up where he'd be like, oh, it's too easy. And then for me, it's like, I'm not fat enough, so it's like, even if I can't do it, it's not going to be that funny. If I was, like, 50, 60 pounds heavier, I feel like it would be funny because it'd be like, oh, look at the fatty struggle. So, I just don't think it would be, like...
Boo is fat ass!
Yeah, like, I just don't think it would have the comedic value because, like, he would take it way too serious and be like, what's up? What's up? You call that a punishment? And then me, like,
We
when
put
I...
like a donut on a string,
Yeah.
and then we could just do like you lift your head up when it goes
You
up.
make him
Take
do
a
it.
bite.
You
Yeah.
make him do it like in his underwear, so we can.
Fuck, yeah.
Who is fat ass?
Who's fat ass?
So, I don't know. I mean, that's not the worst idea. Like something like that. So we'll have to see.
Another one
But
in the back pocket.
Appreciate you suggesting ideas every week. Definitely helps.
Definitely helps.
Because that 999 idea was a great one.
Yeah,
Ah,
it was awesome.
it was fun for me the first 4 innings, and then I was like, oh,
He was like,
shit.
"Oh, this is easy.
I get
you call this a
hot dogs,
punishment?"
drink beer, and watch
Yeah,
some
he's like,
ball. What is this?
With
The
my
punishment?
what is this? I just get to hang out with my
ain't-
dogs and eat some dogs. And he's like giggling, and then it gets to 6 and he's like, "Oh gosh, my stomach. Oh my god, this pumpkin."
That was a dark pumpkin beer. It was
Oh,
only
yeah.
4.4,
I had
but for
one.
some reason it was a lot like heavier than.
It
than
was.
It was a heavy beer.
It was like a sweet beer. It was like
Yeah.
it was
That's why I
very-
picked you up. Oh, and you give me an easy beer? Oh, this is so good.
well,
I'm
the
like,
first couple, I'm like, this is delicious.
I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it was.
I'm
I
like,
had
tell me that
one.
after you've drinking pumpkin for like
I drank
7
one.
straight
I don't
beers.
know if I can drink many
Yeah,
more.
that's what
No,
I'm saying.
I
It's one of
wouldn't-
those ones where it's like you can go down
I'll have-
easy for
yeah.
a few, but then it's like, oh, I'm so
It's
sick
like
of
I
fucking
can't get
pumpkin.
drunk to this shit.
I don't think I would have yacked if there was a bottom of the ninth because I would have been able to pace it out. But yeah, it was definitely just throwing that shit at the end that got me.
Wow. Excuses. Keep letting them fly.
Shut the fuck up. All right, well, we're going to head to break. What's up, guys? It's Colin here. If you haven't done so, please check out the new website. My new Glizzy Goblin video, my punishment from week 4, is going to be uploaded on that later this weekend. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. Let's get back to the episode.
All right, welcome back in. What a wild week we've already had so far. Let's break down last night's game before we give our predictions.
Yeah, the Bears just fucking mollywopped the Commanders. They're up 27-3 at half. They
Made
beat
us
them,
look
what,
like fools.
40-20?
40-20. Made
Yeah,
us
we,
look like
we
fools.
both took Commanders straight up and against the spread.
I thought Washington's defense was better than this, to be honest.
Honestly,
Like,
I don't
they
know
got
what their issue
dominated
is.
all over the place.
they have a phenomenal front, but I'm not going to lie. The Bears ran the ball all day on
Yeah.
them. Down their throats.
They did, yeah. Herbert looked
And
good.
Emmanuel Forbes got the rookie from Mississippi State got fucking exposed. DJ Moore went for
Yeah.
233 touchdowns. Could have been 4. I don't know about you. I didn't think he stepped out there.
They didn't really show
They
it.
didn't
It was
show
weird.
it.
There's a reason they didn't show
Yeah,
it.
there's
That
a
does
reason
make
they
me
didn't
think
show
They
it.
didn't want the controversy.
It was weird. They didn't show
Dude,
it like
they,
at all.
whenever they fuck up like that, they never show the replay. They'll
Yeah,
always
they
show
didn't want to
them
look bad and be
clearly
like, oh, this
stepping out.
could affect the outcome of the game at the NFL.
They don't need the ref
fucking
getting
rigging
death threats.
games, you know. But Yeah, that was interesting. I'm very surprised by this outcome. I'm surprised that the Bears had 5 sacks on Howell, and they could have had
we've
more.
said
Howell
how bad
escaped.
Washington's offensive line is.
I didn't know they were that bad. The Bears
Yeah.
had 2 sacks going into that week and through 4 games.
But that's what I was saying.
Pathetic.
Like, that's why when we were talking about the Giants O-line, like there's a couple teams with really bad O-lines this year, like the Giants, like Washington, Raiders, and Giants. Those might be the 3 worst O-lines in
They're
football.
fucking terrible,
Because
dude.
if you allow the Bears to get 5 sacks, who we probably all think they might have the worst. What would you say? They probably have the worst pass rush in the league. They had 2 sacks going into yesterday's
them or
game.
Arizona. Those are the 2 that are
But
like
the fact that
on
they had,
paper very
now
bad.
they have 7, but the fact that they had 2 sacks in their first 4 games is wild.
That's pathetic. They couldn't stop DJ Moore.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears had 178 rushing yards, and Fields threw for 282.
You know what's
and
crazy?
Fields only completed 15 passes.
Yeah, and the only receiver that caught a ball was DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Mooney had
Mooney
several
had a
targets,
couple,
no receptions.
He could have had the 1 touchdown pass, but
Equiminius
he
St.
got...
Brown, no
overthrew a
receptions.
No, not that one. There was another
Felix
one
Jones, no
where it
receptions.
looked like they were there a little bit early in the end
he
zone.
had 2 potential.
And then on the Washington side, like Sam Howell looked great. I mean, granted, when you're down all game and you got to pass that much, but he looked great.
Dude, especially scrambling. He
Yeah.
broke a lot of tackles. He should have been sacked at least 2 or 3 more times.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, that he had one really crazy.
Now, what fucking
escape.
pissed me off was in the end of the third quarter. You know the exact scramble I'm talking about, where
Yeah.
he broke 2 tackles
Yeah,
and
that's
got
what I'm
close.
talking about, yeah.
4th
They
and
didn't go
3.
for it, yeah.
Riverboat
That was
Ron
crazy.
fucking kicking the field goal, dude. You're down. What were they down? 16?
That was to cut it. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was to
it
cut
would
it
have
to
been
13.
smart.
What the fuck are you doing? It's a 2-score game.
It
Go
was
for
a
it.
4th and 2. Like,
Yeah, it didn't
trust
make
your
sense.
offense.
And then Washington kicked it. the Chicago kicked a field goal later on. And it's like, okay, you're
they
down
missed
10.
it, too.
You're down 10. You're still down 2 scores because you decided to kick that field goal. And then, obviously the DJ Moore touchdown, the third one.
Yeah.
that was kind of a
they-
broken play too, though, because the receiver kind of just.
Well, that was
jumped on the
Fuller,
ball.
right? Fuller tried to jump it, tipped his
Yeah.
fingers, and then Moore just busted. I mean, they were
Kinda just
selling
lost him.
out to stop the run.
Yeah, I mean, what you can take away from this, both teams, you saw good flashes from your quarterbacks. I mean, the Bears, they need to keep winning if they want to save this season. I think it's pretty much over at this point, but it's definitely another good step in the right direction for Fields. And on the Washington side of the ball, I mean, not a good look.
Dude, I'm not sold on Washington. They just
But-
seem like they play to the competition of who they're.
Yeah,
Who their
yeah, because they
opponent
just went to overtime with the team that was in the Super Bowl last year.
They lost, and they
Giants
lost by
last year.
3. They scored 31 on the Eagles, and then you play
The
the Bears
at
and
home.
You barely get to 20. They threw the ball, I believe,
yeah,
from the second quarter on, they dropped back to pass. I think it was fucking
everything. Yeah,
50
they only
plays
ran
in
the
a row
ball
or
10 times
something.
last night.
Yeah, they couldn't get any running game against a bad Bears front. Granted,
Yeah.
they have good linebackers, but a bad front.
Yeah, but I will say, if you're a Washington fan, it's a
You're
good
fu-
game. Sam Howell, something to be happy about there.
Yeah, they have
He
bigger,
looks good so
they have
far
bigger
this year.
problems than Howell. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah, he's not the issue.
the offensive line, the
letting up 40
secondary.
points to the Bears is your issue because
Yeah.
the Bears the Washington's supposed to be a great defensive team.
They're
They've
just
always
not.
said they're a quarterback away. That's what they've been saying the
They
past
get
couple
worse
years.
year after
Clearly-
year after year.
Clearly, it's not a
there's
Even with that
quarterback
front,
issue.
man, I mean, Sweat is a beast. He had a sack last night. Chase Young looked really good. I think he
did
had
look good, yeah.
Jonathan Allen.
I think he had
pretty good.
11, 12, 13 pressures, a
yeah, he's
37% pass rush
finally
win
looks
rate.
back to fully healthy.
Yeah, he
so,
looked good. He looked good, but also at the same time, he's on a contract year, so
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do because they already have so much money invested up front, and their defense sucks.
yeah. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get into the preview. So the first game, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are technically the away team against the Bills. This is another London game, so the Jags didn't even leave. They've been in London for now 2 weeks, which is wild. But I don't know. But it's kind of weird to me that the NFL does it like that. But I guess they really want them to be London's team. I don't know. But
Yeah, Bills are 5-point favorites, over under 48. I'm on the Bills straight up and against the spread. Reagan, you are on the Jags, correct?
Yep, this is also my underdog upset of the week.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
Looking to get back on track.
Yeah, we're 2-2, so still up units.
What's your reasoning for that?
Well, my biggest reason is they've been there. Jacksonville's
Adjusted
always
to the time zone.
adjusted to the time zone. They also always play well in London because that's their second home and could be their first home. The way it's looking, and the fact that the NFL decided to make them play 2 London games is crazy. I don't think we've really seen that before. You don't really see teams doing that.
I have not seen that.
So that's odd. And they have a ton of fans out there. I think they're the most popular team in London because they've played so many games there. They always have a game there every year. So for them, it's almost like a home game. Unless the Mafia decides to all travel out there.
Oh, the Mafia totally could.
Their defenses looked better. Granted, the Atlanta offense isn't anything special to me, but they looked good last week. The offense still, 20 points last week. That I didn't love that, but they seem like they're starting to get things going. I mean, you'd like to see Calvin Ridley be more involved and stuff, and I think the Bills are kind of riding on a high right now, and they're due for a letdown game.
Yeah, I mean, the Jags are 9-6 against the spread as underdogs under Peterson, so that bodes well for you. But I'm going to rock with the Bills. They've won their last 3 by an average of 30 points per game. The Jags' offense has started slow. They haven't really put up a ton of points on some bad defenses, and this Buffalo defense looks fucking legit. Although they did lose Tre'Davious White for the season due to a torn Achilles. I still just trust this Bills defense. Josh Allen at Diggs looks unstoppable. I don't know who's going to stop him in Jacksonville's back end.
Yeah.
Because I still don't have a ton of faith in that defense. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jags cover.
I think this is going to be a very close game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills. They've just been so dominant. I'm not gonna fade them now.
Plus, Jacksonville has to play well because at the end of the day, like both of these teams were the favorites to win their divisions. So you got to think this is going to be seeding at the end of the year. Like, assuming Jacksonville still goes on.
Yeah, I mean, every team in that division is 2-2 in the South, but
this is a huge game long term though for seeding when it comes playoff time. Because I think Jacksonville, in my opinion, it's Jacksonville or Tennessee. So
they changed the drinking laws there for the Bills fans in London too. So they're allowing bars in London to open up as early as 8 a.m. to the Bills fans.
Wow. All right, maybe I might have to change my pick then.
Yeah.
The Mafia is getting rowdy
They're
early.
going to be real rowdy.
Because the Mafia's going to travel well.
Because they're 5 hours ahead, so what? It's
9:30 for us. It's
2:30 there.
2:30
So they're going to have the Mafia getting drunk at 8 o'clock.
Brother.
Yeah, oh yeah. So they're going to be
Red Hawks.
They're going to be
back.
they're going to be freaking 8 o'clock. They're getting lit up. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's lit.
Shit. I'm going to have to change my pick.
All right, next up, my New York Football Giants, big dogs this week to the Dolphins, 11-point dogs, over under 48.5. Okay. I'm going with the Dolphins. Let me just say, I'm taking them straight up.
The unbiased fan hat comes off.
I'm going with the Dolphins. I'm taking the Giants against the spread. This feels like a trap game, boys. This feels like a it feels like a trap game.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
everyone's like, "Oh, the Dolphins are so good." You know, Tyreek Hill's gonna go for 200. Tua's gonna do his thing. Bada bing, bada boom. The Giants blow. They can't block anybody. They can't score points. Trap game. We saw the Cardinals beat the shit out of the Cowboys. No one expected that.
in fairness, though, I don't think the Cardinals had as many issues as the Giants have right now.
Okay, motherfucker. I'm just saying, shit happens in the NFL any given Sunday. I don't know. It feels like a trap game, but it's gonna be tough for.
What do you mean? So you think that there's a chance the Giants win, or just the trap game for the spread?
No. I'm saying
he's
they
just
can fucking
saying
win.
like
I'm not ballsy enough to do it. The return of Barkley could spark this offense a bit.
Put your
I like
nuts
to
on
see
the
him
line.
be more creative.
Put your nuts on the line.
Be more creative, but
come on.
Still with knowing if Andrew Thomas was playing, I would. I just hate this offensive line without Andrew Thomas.
Yeah.
They brought in Justin Pugh, who's like a vet off an ACL, to try to help him out. I don't trust this line enough to like take them straight up, but I'm saying feels like a trap game, boys.
Yeah. Stop doing that.
Okay.
It keeps rattling. You see what I'm saying?
Damn.
I've been doing this the entire fucking time we've been doing this.
I know, but normally it doesn't do it that loud. I'm just telling you. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I can see the Giants backdoor covering because, I mean, when it's 11 points, it's a lot of points. So if it's freaking they're down 2 scores, like say it's 14-point game, I could see Daniel Jones getting enough. Dolphins just in their prevent defense. But yeah, I don't see this being too close. I just can't. After what happened on Monday night, like
you would think they're gonna make some adjustments. Like
you would think
get
they're
the
gonna make
ball
some
out
adjustments.
quicker.
You would hope. But I mean, after that,
yeah.
it's a much better front than Seattle has in Miami, and Miami, like you think they're gonna be coming out pissed off because they just got the bricks blown off. It's not like they're 4-0 like riding high and they're like, oh, they're gonna sleep on the Giants. Like they're already pissed off. Like I genuinely would have a different feeling about this game if Miami won last week because I think they take the Giants lightly. But I think they're pissed off and they're going to want to come light up the Giants just because they just got embarrassed against the Bills.
Evan Neal revenge game against Don LaGreca. You better come out and play well. Max just texted me. He's like, dude, I just noticed this. Every time it's a pass, Evan Neal has his hand on his thighs. When it's a run, he puts his hand in the dirt. I'm like, if this motherfucker... Remember when people were like, oh, Trent Williams is tipping, whether it's run or pass, but it doesn't matter. It's Trent Williams, the best left tackle in football.
I can't...
People are saying Evan... He says that Evan Neal's tipping run or pass. And he sucks, so you can't be doing that.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah, that's
Not good.
interesting.
I don't know. The Giants' offensive line.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's at the end of the day the biggest factor because
I mean, if they already know what the play is before, and they
we'll
have to
see.
just
It
go
sounds
past
like a
Evan
reach.
Neal.
It sounds like a reach on that, but if that is true, that's wild.
I don't know.
He
I'm
doesn't
gonna look
really
for it. I'm gonna look for it.
Evan
right
Neal
now.
doesn't really seem smart after coming out calling all the fans hamburger flippers.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really know with the Evan Neal, but that's still so funny that Don LaGreco said all that stuff
I
about him.
know. It's an all-timer. All right, let's get to the next game. I'm tired of talking about my Giants.
Well, I'm not. Let's keep going.
No, it's good. It's good. It's fine.
Come on, you-
No, it's
ass.
fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. We can move on.
What, the hamburger flipper doesn't want to talk about it?
Panthers at Lions. Lions 10-point favorites. Over under 44.5. This one was tough for me. I took the Lions for my survivor, so definitely think they win this game straight up. The Panthers.
You think you're
going to
survive?
I hope so. It's my last entry out of like 5.
Bomb!
Against the spread, I'm going to go with Detroit, although I just saw that Amon-Ra St. Brown not practicing today. So, they'll know more about his status in the next 24 hours. That's a big loss.
Yeah, no, that is. I was on the other side. I have Carolina covering, but I do have Detroit winning.
Carolina's 0-4
just-
against the spread, brother.
Yeah,
And Detroit has the best run defense in football thus far. So you got to take the training wheels off Bryce Young now?
hopefully.
They got it.
You would think. I mean, at least enough to cover 10 points, right? I mean, that's a lot of points to be given up.
It's a lot.
Plus, if they haven't covered yet, you got to think something's got to give, right?
Yeah,
You know, Vegas has got to make
They're
some money
due.
back.
They're due. I will say, very curious to see Jamison Williams. How many? I mean, I don't think he'll be limited because it's not like he's coming off an injury. He's been
I hope
practicing,
if,
just not playing. So.
I hope he bet on Carolina, so they cover.
Yeah, I don't think Jamison's going to be gambling on this game. We hope not.
Stick to the Jameson.
No, Jameson took his over receiving yards. I could totally see Jameson Williams having like a 50-yard touchdown catch on a bomb
Really?
from Goff, but
I guess you never know.
yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to look at the line on that, maybe sprinkle, but I'm curious to see how involved he is in this
Sprinkle.
offense. Because last year he didn't really get a ton of snaps because he was coming off the ACL. Now he's like perfectly healthy,
Yeah.
so I don't think they should ease him in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they need more help at the receiver position, so get him the ball. All right, next we got Ravens 4-point favorites at the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It's an interesting one.
This is very interesting. Over under 38.
Yeah, I'd take the under on that first off. These games are always so low scoring.
I actually have a good stat for you right here. Pittsburgh has won 3 of the last 4, all of which have been by 3 points or less.
Okay.
And none of those games has the winner scored more than 20 points.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me at all. Like, this matchup's always super low scoring. It's always a
Classic
defensive battle.
AFC North
That's why I
matchup.
have Pittsburgh covering, because they're at home, and you're giving me 4 points in a game that's been decided by 3 points, like you just said. It's always close, so if I can get 4 points, I'll take it, especially if it's for the home team. While Pittsburgh's offense hasn't looked great, their defense has looked pretty solid.
Yes.
Like, they're definitely, since that 49ers loss, they're starting to put it together.
Are you taking
For the most part, I mean,
you're
last
taking them
week,
straight up and against the spread?
I am taking them straight up, yeah. I'm taking the home team. If Baltimore was home, I would be on the. I would still take Pittsburgh for the points, but I'd take Baltimore to win. I just want the home team in this game. I think this matchup historically has been favors the home team, which, I mean, that's like every game, but I think with this rivalry and the way their fans get into it, I think it's a huge advantage to be home in this.
That's fair.
And also, it looks like Pickett's going to play because Trubisky did not look good when he came in.
No.
So.
It does look like Pickett's going to play with the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he's like compromised at all.
This is a classic
I mean,
Mike Tomlin game, though.
But yeah, the Steelers' offensive line isn't good. Like
This is a
Pickett's
classic.
gonna get hit. He's gonna get hit.
Yeah, this is a classic Mike Tomlin game, though. Wherever you're counting them out, you're like, "Oh, Baltimore will steamroll them."
And this got blown out by
Yeah,
Houston.
just got
bounce
blown
back
out by
game.
Houston. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, they just lost to Houston by 24," and Baltimore just killed the Browns. So
God.
people are gonna look at it and be like, "They blew out the Browns." Granted, Watson didn't play, and Dorian Robinson did not look good. So yeah, to me, it just seems like a little trappy. I definitely love Pittsburgh points, but I think the game goes either way. But I think it's close, field goal.
Dan, I'm taking Baltimore straight up, obviously. But man, you're almost talking me into taking the Steelers against the spread.
Yeah,
I just don't want to root against my Ravens.
Yeah, I think this game is decided by a field goal.
It's a tough one. It's really tough. I do think it's low scoring. I'm gonna go with the Ravens by a touchdown.
Yeah.
Especially just because I'm a little nervous about Pickett, and if he's out, I think Trubisky's fucking ass. So if Pickett's compromised, he's gonna get hit against this defense. I also don't know how well they're gonna be able to run the ball with those linebackers for the Ravens.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens, but I don't feel very confident in it.
Well, let's move on to the next one. Probably the ugliest game on the board.
Yuck.
The Saints at the Patriots.
Somehow a higher total than the game we
you
just
would
talked
think.
about by 1 point.
I love
under
the under
39.
in this game. I mean,
Yeah, Saints-Pats. Saints are 1-point favorites in New England.
I lean Saints just because, well, obviously I've been on them all season, but the reason why I lead the Saints is more so just New England just lost probably their 2 best defensive players, and they're a team that's great on defense, and their offense is really not looked good all year.
They're dogs by 1, especially
I think it's
being
because
in Foxborough.
I think it's because Carr isn't healthy still, and they don't know if it's going to be Jameis or Carr, because there's a chance it could be Jameis. Like, I don't think that's
Yeah, but they're saying the
official.
Saints on a neutral field are essentially 4 points better than the Patriots.
Yeah, because the Patriots just lost their 2 best defensive players, and their offense is not
but they've also played Philly and Miami both tough at home. They lost
when
both,
they had
but they were
Giovanni
both
Gonzalez.
one score. Yeah. I get it.
mean, you don't have Gonzalez to go put on Olave,
Yeah, but you got J.C. Jackson in the house now.
And is he even going to
We'll
play?
see, dude. We'll see. I
mean,
have
you
no
would think
idea.
he probably still remembers the defense.
But we can both agree on both offenses have been brutal to watch. Both defenses. I mean, the Saints defense has been better.
That's where I lean. That's why I
Yeah.
lean the Saints is because right now their defense is better. Like
Yeah,
even
but they
before.
were so bad against the Bucs last week with Carr's shoulder. I mean, I just can't trust it.
Well,
I'm going New England.
And I feel
straight
like the
up
reason
against
why the
spread.
Bucs were able to score so much is when Derek Carr's going 3 and out every possession, have the defense on the field a lot more. So
I think if this game was played in New Orleans, I'd take the Saints, but I just trust
you're
the
taking
Patriots.
the Patriots at home.
I just trust them in Gillette.
Yeah, for me it was an easy choice once Judon and Gonzalez got ruled out indefinitely.
Yeah, but it's also Bill Belichick. He's going to have a defensive plan.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
All right, next. Texans at Falcons. Falcons -1.5, over under 41. Man, I went back and forth on this one.
It's a weird game.
Everything screams Houston because Atlanta just lost and Houston just blew out
The Houston's looked great.
Pittsburgh. Their offense looks great. Stroud looks great. 3 games in a row with 280 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Everything just screamed Houston to me, but I'm going to go Falcons at home. Straight up and against the spread. I think Bijan has another big game. I mean, he looked really good last week against a tough run defense in Jacksonville.
And that's where you beat the Texans, is on the ground.
Yeah, you beat them on the ground.
What does Atlanta do? They run the ball.
Yeah,
or they want to run the ball.
All they want to do is run the ball, right? I mean, I don't know. Atlanta's defense has looked better, particularly against the pass. I do like Jesse Bates. You got A.J. Terrell. This was a really tough one for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to rock with the Falcons.
I'm rocking with
Bijan.
Houston just because they've looked so good. And honestly, their offensive line is still not 100%, and they're just
Not
getting
even
healthier.
close to 100%.
So the fact that Stroud's doing this without a healthy offensive line, they're only going to get better as the season goes on. And right now, I'm just going to ride with the hot hand. I mean, Stroud's looked amazing, and Ritter's looked terrible. So for me, I just want to ride with the hot hand. And the Houston's defense is starting to put it together, too. So
yeah.
I mean, you can't really tell me that Pickett's any worse than Ritter, So if he struggled with it, I don't expect Ritter to come out and look any better than he did against Jacksonville, another defense we're not sold on. So
yeah, I think it's gonna be a big Bijan game. I like Bijan anytime.
I think it has to be. I mean, you clearly can't rely on Ritter.
It has to. Yeah, Ritter's fucking dog shit. Conversation for another time. All right, Titans -2 at the Colts, over under 43. I believe we're both taking the
all
Titans
Tennessee.
straight up and against the spread. This one was also really tough for me. But it just seems like Vrabel has Indy's number. They've won 5 in a row against them.
And what do the Colts want to do? They want to run, and what is Tennessee good at?
They stopping
the run. So it basically comes down to, can Anthony Richardson beat you as a passer? He's been all right as a passer, but most of his domination so far has come on the ground. So can he step up as a passer? That's the big question mark here.
Yeah.
And where does Tennessee beat? The secondary. So it's kind of funny that what both teams do best is going to counter out, and what both teams do worst is going against each other. That's the big thing on the defensive-offensive match here. But also, I just think this is another big Derrick Henry game for me.
Henry has run for 100 yards in 5 of the last 6 against Indianapolis.
Yeah, I don't see that changing.
He dominates in that division. He always shits on Houston. He always shits on Indianapolis.
Yeah, he plays well in the division games. He
Yeah.
steps up when you need him to step up. And I mean, this is a huge game for both teams because right now, like we were saying before, all the teams are 2-2. So Tennessee's the one who's more playoff ready. Like nobody expected Indianapolis to be this good right away.
No, absolutely not.
So I think this is a huge game for Tennessee, and they know that. They're not sleeping on the Colts. Vrabel's got those guys hyped up. So, and it's only 2 points.
Yeah, I trust the experience of Vrabel against a rookie quarterback. And
but
they're gonna ride the horse.
This team's so hard to predict every week, so I wouldn't be shocked if they came out and
they could lay an egg, and Tannehill could look like the worst quarterback in the league, or they could just beat the fucking shit out of a good team, like they beat the shit out of the Bengals.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. Tough team to read. Speaking of the Bengals -3 at the Arizona Cardinals. Over under 44.5. They're still favored, even though they laid an egg last week.
This is such a weird game. I'm taking Cincinnati because it's like 3 points. It's so low.
I'm taking it as well just because
but Arizona's
so much
good.
more talented than Arizona.
Arizona's looked so good, and the Bengals have looked so bad. But like you said, the talent gap is there clearly.
Huge. And can you imagine? Like,
I'm taking the Bengals with one of my Survivor entries this week. So
wow, ballsy, brother. That's ballsy.
It's got. You know what? It's week 5. You got to take some risks. I mean. Plus, if the Bengals lose this, when can you take them in Survivor at this point? Like, if they can't win this game, then you're not going to be able to take them again anyway.
I can't picture them dropping to 1-4, right?
I can't either. That's another thing. Like, I can't picture it. And you would think Burrow every week he's just going to be more and more healthy. You would hope.
You hope.
I would say the defense has got to step up for Cincinnati.
Keep feeding Jamar Chase.
The offense clearly can't get it done right now. So the defense just can't let Josh Dobbs and James Conner kill him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm same boat with you, man. I hope Burrow starts to look more like himself. The league's just better when the Bengals are lighting up the scoreboard. Good team. All right, next, Eagles. -4.5 at the LA Rams, over under 49.5. I'm taking Philly straight up, but I think the Rams cover.
Really?
Especially, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win outright, to be honest with you, which, I have the Rams under for the season, but I hate the Eagles. Tough spot.
Wait, you hate the Eagles? Why?
Whoa, I'm no Evan Anderson. I don't switch to other teams, after being.
I thought you were when you were wearing that hat before.
Red October, bro. But yeah, I will say the thing that concerns me with the Rams, Stafford has a bit of a hip issue. They're monitoring throughout the week, so if he's compromised, this is a dominant Eagles front.
Yeah,
could be a problem, but. The Eagles' weakness is their secondary.
And exactly. The Rams might have the best 1-2 combo right now in the league.
I mean, the way Puka Nakua's looked, like playing right now, you insert Kupp.
Yeah, even if Kupp's limited, still.
A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
But...
obviously it's not the best 1-2 punch, but they're definitely in that conversation. They're definitely in the conversation.
It could be up there, yeah. But the Philly secondary has allowed 9 passing touchdowns going into this week. So before the Bears-Washington game last night, which was the third most in the league. The only teams allowing more were the Bears.
Probably.
No, the Bears and the Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Broncos.
is awful.
Pretty easy when you allow 70 points in a game to be the top at every bad defensive metric.
But those were a lot of rushing touchdowns, too. They've just been fucking
That's what
brutal
I'm saying.
across
That's
the
what I'm
board.
saying. Yeah. Once you 70-point game, you're pretty much fighting for that top spot for every defensive bad metric.
Yeah, it's terrible. So if you're going to beat the Eagles, it's through the air. And what have the Rams been doing all year? Throwing the ball with Stafford.
Yeah.
Puka Nakua. Insert Cooper Kupp.
Kyron Williams has been able to get a lot
but
done.
He hasn't been efficient. He's just because
I don't expect him to be efficient here either. I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to be able to run the ball very much.
I don't think so
You
either.
really can't run the ball in the Philly defense.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams won this outright. I'm going to take the 4.5 at home with Kupp coming back. Although A.J. Brown has been on a fucking tear. 27 catches for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. I don't have any faith in this Rams secondary, so I wouldn't be surprised if Philly beats them through the air. I think this could be a shootout.
Yeah, definitely a sneaky shootout potential here. I mean, you would think Philly would adjust from last week because allowing that Washington offense to put up 31 points is never a good spot. But
That is not good.
I'm just taking Philly because the line's just pretty low to me. I mean, obviously I think they're going to win, but 4.5 points, I'm taking that. I expect the Hurts and the offense to continue to pick it up. They started out slow, but last week was a good sign. So you think the defense has got to have a better game, and the offense continues to improve. And like you said, with Stafford being limited, that definitely scares me because he's already not mobile. So if he's even more limited, you don't love that because this Philly front seven can really get after the quarterback because when you got guys like Jalen Carter and
Brandon Graham,
Reddick was the one I was
Fletcher
thinking of.
Cox.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
The amount of guys they got that they can just keep rotating in. But I definitely think the Rams can keep it close, but I'm leaning Philly on the spread and money line as of now. So we'll see, but I'm excited for that game. Another
4.5 point spread. The Chiefs are 4.5 point favorites on the road at Minnesota with an over-under of 53. I believe that's the highest total on the slate. I'm taking KC straight up, but I think they only win by a field goal. I'm going to take Minnesota to cover. Minnesota's played 4 one-score games this year. Last year they played, I believe...
It was like 13.
13 one-score games. They went
were like 12-1. Oh, no, they did go 13-0.
They went undefeated. They went, or maybe it was 11-0.
I don't know. They were
it was something like
pretty
that.
Pretty much every win they had was in a one-score game.
Everything's a one-score game. With the 4.5, they're the home team. I still trust Mahomes to get the win. I don't love the receiving core, but he's spreading it out. They're protecting for him. He's scrambling a lot. expect him to scramble more. I honestly like his over rushing yards. He's going to find Kelsey. I mean, the Chiefs' defenses look good, but Jefferson has been dominant on the other side, so I think the Vikings have enough firepower to keep it close, but I think they lose another close one.
Yeah, no, I definitely think they can keep it close. I mean, Kirk Cousins has kind of been one of those guys throughout the season that's just been dominating in garbage time, and if the Chiefs are up 10 going into the fourth, like, would you be that shocked if Kirk Cousins is able to lead a drive to get the backdoor cover? No. I think you can move the ball in this defense. They didn't look great against the Jets. I mean, you can't really say they look, even though Zach Wilson threw for 245, Kirk Cousins is a lot better than him. So, and Justin Jefferson, like you said, is a beast. So I definitely think they can keep it close. I mean, the Chiefs' offense, they got to pick it up, but this is a defense that I don't love. So I think that for them it'll be an easy get back spot because 3 points in the second half is not good from last week for a Super Bowl caliber team. So you got to think they're going to pick it up, and Minnesota's very beatable. So I think another big game for Pacheco too.
Yeah, I do like a Pacheco touchdown.
You can beat Minnesota on the ground. You can beat them in the air.
The defense
there's
is
a lot of points to be gotten there.
Yeah, I hope it's a shootout. I love shootouts.
I think we're going to get a shootout.
I just hope it's not
What's
a
the
blowout.
over-under on that?
53.
Yeah, so that's a
fairly
high line, but a lot of fantasy points.
All
Definitely
right.
want a guy in that matchup.
Next up, your New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are 2.5-point favorites at home. Over under 43.5. It's an ugly game. Nathaniel Hackett Bowl. Everyone was looking forward to this a lot more before Rodgers went down, but we thought the Broncos would be better with Sean Payton. We thought Jets, Aaron Rodgers going against, Hackett going against his former team. But this game is very ugly. I feel bad that you have to watch this.
Yeah,
Pathetic performance. I'm gonna rock with the Broncos.
Wow.
Straight up and against the spread. I debated it. I mean, I don't trust either team. It's bad versus bad. It's bad Jets offense against bad Broncos defense. Who folds? I don't know. They're both terrible. I just don't think Wilson's consistent. Everyone's like, oh, if Wilson plays like he did last week, I'm like, well, when have we ever seen Zach Wilson be consistent? So I kind of think he's going to lay an egg.
And the worst part about it is this is the best opportunity for him to have a good game because his Denver defense has been terrible.
The Chiefs defense was
terrible.
Ranked top 10 in the league before last week, and now this Denver defense.
It would be Zach Wilson to just put a dud up,
right?
In a matchup where there's a lot of hope coming in because this is I don't know if he's going to get a better opportunity this year. This might be the worst defense he's going to go against.
We just mentioned the Bears and Broncos are the only teams that allow more passing touchdowns than the 9 the Eagles put up.
I would take the under in this game. I'm obviously riding with the Jets. I'm a fan. How can you not? But also, I'm just going to go with the best.
Unbiased fan.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the best unit out there. The fact that the Jets have one of the best defenses in the league. I mean, they showed that they were able to limit Mahomes. Even if you told me they only allowed 23 points to Mahomes. So they looked good last week. This Denver offense has been super inconsistent, and their defense has been super bad. So it's just I'm leaning a low-scoring game, and I think the Jets defense is just going to do enough to get them the win. And
you think by 3, somewhere around there?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, it really comes down to how good our defense plays and how Zach Wilson plays. Because if our defense is doing well and Denver puts up 10 points, 14 points, it really comes down to what Zach Wilson we get. Do we get the one against the Chiefs or do we get the one against the Patriots?
I'm going to predict 16-13 Broncos cover the 2.5.
Isn't this the same field that Breece Hall tore his ACL on?
Yeah, it would be. So revenge game. Breece Hall versus
Breece Hall versus
I
got him in fantasy, so
that's another thing. I'm expecting a big week out of him because Denver just can't stop anything, and Breece Hall's looked
potential around the felt parlay leg.
Yeah, potential. There's potential for it.
I mean, teaser.
He's looked good all season. So
what if that field is his kryptonite?
I don't like to root for stuff like that. So
I'm not rooting for it. I'm just throwing the hypothetical out there.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
next game, Cowboys at the Niners, Sunday Night Football, -3.5. Very anticipated game early in the season. Over under 45. Jerry Jones already come out and said this is how we stack up against the best team in the league. This is a measuring stick game.
Well, let's give these people something to anticipate it more on.
Oh,
come on, you didn't even mention it.
I was waiting.
We got our punishment on this game this week.
This week's punishment is on this game. Reagan, what is this week's punishment?
Well, first off, the punishment is going to be 5 days of embarrassing TikTok dances. So we're basically going to be doing whoever loses is going to have to do
she a devil.
Yeah.
She a bad little bitch.
Whoever dances is going to have 5 videos in a row.
I don't have TikToks. I don't know any of the dances.
Whoa. We can change that.
We're going to have to choreograph it.
Yeah, that's not going to be too hard to change.
It won't be a problem, though, because I have the Niners. They're going to whoop the shit out of the Cowboys.
Yeah, but essentially every day for 5 days, so I guess it'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Since it's a Sunday night game, you'll be seeing a TikTok of Colin because Dallas is going to cover plus 3.5.
Yeah, I don't know why you have faith in Dak Prescott against a good defense.
Dak Prescott?
It's going to be you doing, ooh, she a devil. Yeah, and it's going to be on the Around the Felt TikTok. We're going to post it everywhere. Don't worry.
It'll be on Instagram.
You guys
It'll
can
be on
see
Snapchat.
this goofy
He's going to
motherfucker
be doing some Meg Thee Stallion dances.
dancing.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
be throwing that shit back, Reagan.
Why not you?
Oh, a little bit of
Boo is badass!
Why can't it be you? I'd love to see you dance.
No, because the Niners, the last 2 times they played in the playoffs, they beat them 23-17 and 19-12.
Oh, so you're a man who likes to use the pass. Well, the
more-
last 2 times
they're
we
more
made
consistent.
a bet,
They're more
I
consistent.
But I think the last 2 times we've made a bet, you have lost. So if we're going off of your logic, then that means you should lose.
Future's now
That-
old, man.
Those events are independent of each other. There's no correlation. You're just a fucking idiot.
The
Niners.
I can't be too big of an idiot because
The
I'm not the one
Niners-
who had to drink out of my gross shoe and eat fucking
All right,
9
well,
hot dogs and pumpkin beer.
you know
And I'm
what's
going to have to
fucked?
shake that ass.
You know what? Okay. You're going to shake that ass. The Niners are more consistent. They're the home team. They haven't lost a regular season game since McCaffrey's first game, which was against the Chiefs. I mean, I just think they're a stronger team overall. Both teams have elite defenses.
Oh,
I
yeah.
trust.
These
I trust.
might be the best two. Oh,
I
these
trust-
might be the best 2 defenses in the league.
They very might well be. I just trust the Niners offense more than I trust Dallas offense. I don't trust Dak against good defense. I don't like the hook. It's making me nervous.
The
They
hook.
might win by 3. I don't like
Oh, the hook.
I don't like the hook.
What are you
But,
thinking? Like maybe a Moody last-second field goal to win the game by 3?
Like, I would I'd be like, yeah, Cowboys lost, but no, I got to throw that shit back on TikTok. You know?
Yeah, for the next 5 days, you'll be like, yeah.
So you guys are going to have to, like, actually learn the dances, though. You can't just...
Well, not you
have
guys.
to.
It'll just be him. I don't
Well,
have to
I'm just
worry.
saying.
Yeah, low-key, there was a thought process.
Well, what if it pushes, though?
There's no push. 'Cause
It's
the
3.5.
hook.
It's 3.5.
Oh,
But there was a thought
That would've
process
been
into
fun.
picking a game. Like, we almost did
Yeah.
Green
That
Bay
would've been so
Raiders.
cute.
That would've
If
been fun.
If Green Bay
Little
won by
duet.
1.
A little like butt bump
little,
together.
little booty bump, like joint TikToks.
There are some joint ones that's,
Yeah.
like, where they, like, wave them in.
Maybe we could do one where I'm like twirling them on my finger in the air.
I throw the rope around you and I pull you in.
Yeah.
It's
And he's just, like, thrusting.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know us.
That's fucked.
We could throw it back.
Why are you taking the Cowboys? What's your thought process?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm happy with how they looked last week because there was a lot of question marks going into that game. They're like, oh, you lost to the Cardinals. This Patriots team's looked great, and then they go out and give Bill Belichick his worst loss ever. So the fact that they beat him 38-3 and a guy, I mean, I thought they were going to cover. You said they weren't going to cover, but I don't think either of us expected it to get to be like that.
Well, obviously, if I took the Patriots to cover, I think they'd lose by 5 touchdowns.
But anyway, nice. But anyway, this Dallas team definitely came back with vengeance last week, so I'm happy to see that.
It's a good
But
point,
yeah,
though.
I have a lot of confidence in this defense, and with the 49ers really haven't played a lot of elite defenses so far. I mean, Pittsburgh we thought would be better coming into the year, but they've obviously been beatable so far.
Yeah, but they hung 30
Cardinals-
on the Steelers, and the Steelers have a very good defense. They hung
Just
30
said
on
that
everyone.
how they haven't looked like we thought they would look because the Texans just hung 30 on Pittsburgh, so I don't know if they're as good as we thought. And on top of that, like the Giants defense, the Cardinals defense, and who's the last one they beat? Who am I making?
The Rams.
The Rams. So those are 3 defenses that are very beatable. I'm not questioning the 49ers offense. I'm just saying they haven't really faced an elite defense. So I'm taking the under on top of that. I think this is going to be low scoring with the 2 defenses, but I'd rather have the points in this matchup against 2 really good teams. And this is huge for the tiebreaker at the end of the year when it comes to playoff seeding too.
Yeah, it could be. If I
Because
don't think the Cowboys win the division. I think the Eagles do, and I think the Niners win the division. But if one of them were to flop, Cowboys win
Yeah.
the division, Niners win the division. For seeding, this is a huge
It's
game.
a huge game. So
Huge game.
both teams are going to be hyped up for
If
it.
the
and
Niners
it's on
win this
Sunday Night
one, though,
Football.
I mean,
By far the best
Huge.
game on the week.
yeah, this
I'm
is a sick
super
game.
excited.
I'm happy it's on Sunday Night Football too, because
Yeah.
I feel like we've been getting screwed with
We do have a good.
primetime games.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
lot of blowouts. So I'm
Well, it
glad
seems
that-
like Thursday night's kind of like throw you a primetime bone. Like
Yeah.
they kind of just throw out.
I like that primetime bone.
Like they kind of just throw out usually bad matchups,
Oh,
and
like
then
next
Sunday
week,
night.
Chiefs Broncos.
Yeah, that's the Broncos bone, So, but Sunday night's been good. Even last week, like it was supposed to be a good matchup, and then it was like, this is gonna suck, and we got a good matchup. So you would think this one will meet expectations, or at least you hope it will.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, final game on the slate. You remember 4 teams are on a bye this week, so 2
Yeah.
less games. Packers 1-point favorites on the road at Las Vegas. Monday Night Football over under 45. This is a tough game too. I'm going Packers straight up and against the spread. Although it's Devontae Adams' revenge game, I think he's going to
Big
score. I
Devontae
think he's
Adams
going to
revenge
score a touchdown. Although I'm a little nervous about the shoulder. If that flares up during the game, how that could affect him. But I think he's going to play through it.
I think he's got to. I mean, if there's any game that he would play through it,
he's got to, right? I mean, it'd
You
be
need
cool
your
if this
revenge.
game was in Green Bay.
I
to be
know.
honest
That
with
would
you.
be awesome.
They should have
but-
put it in Green Bay, but honestly, I think...
Yeah, they should have. They should have just been like, screw the way we do the schedule. We want the Devontae Adams homecoming instead.
Yeah, I mean, they could have flopped something
They
else.
could have. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, they could have figured it out.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think although the Packers looked like shit last week, Jordan Love looked like shit. I think it's a bounce back game. The Raiders secondary is dog shit, and I'm just gonna fade Josh McDaniels all season because I think that guy sucks as a head coach.
He does suck as a head coach. I'm only taking the Raiders because I think Garoppolo is going to play, but
Yeah,
if he doesn't play,
that's a question mark
that's
too.
why I'm saying the Raiders right now. But if he doesn't play, I have no confidence in Aiden O'Connell. He didn't look terrible, but he definitely didn't have a great pocket presence.
I mean, Khalil Mack was like, man, that guy
Because
held on. That number 4 held
he-
on.
he
to the
was
ball
sacked a
longer
lot,
than
but-
Derek Carr did.
He was sacked a lot, and it's easy to blame the offensive line, but at the same time, I feel like some of those sacks could have been prevented if Aiden O'Connell maybe threw it away. Or
I think
tried
the
to
game was a
scramble.
little fast for him last
Little
week,
bit,
which
little
is to
bit.
be expected. He was struggling to get through his read. So if O'Connell's playing, I mean, maybe they go Hoyer the Destroyer.
Yeah, I think
Maybe they're like,
I was honestly shocked they didn't, but I guess they want to see what they had in O'Connell.
I don't blame him because Jimmy's a bridge quarterback. Let's be honest. So if you have a young guy that looked good in preseason, why don't you give him some real reps and see if you got something?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Green Bay's got to. I mean, they didn't look good against Detroit, but they do have a good defense on paper. I'd like to see him bounce back here, especially if Garoppolo's not playing.
Somebody's got to bounce back. Cause
Somebody's got to.
Neither team won last week, so it's a bounce back for somebody.
If
Just
the
a matter of
Raiders
who
lose
gets
this
it done.
game, though,
1-4.
I could see it spiraling, and I could see Devontae Adams asking out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely one of those teams that I expect to be missing the playoffs, and then one of those teams that we're talking about getting a new quarterback next year in the draft.
Absolutely. I think that wraps us up, Reagan, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm just going to say look out for the hot dog video. That'll be out over the weekend, so you get to see this guy destroy a couple dogs, destroy some beers.
Also, you can check it out on our website. That is launched. Everything's there, so if you haven't yet, please check that out. A lot of good content.
And merch will be coming soon. We're getting the ball rolling on that now.
I know we've been
so-
saying that for, about a month. But we're in the designing process, so that should be
keep a
coming soon,
lookout
you
for
guys.
that. And just for next week, one of us is going to be dancing 5 days in a row. So you'll see that on all the different social platforms. So make sure you're following us everywhere.
I'd rather throw out 9 glizzies, drink 9 beers, and I'd rather drink out of the shoe than have to do these TikTok dances.
Well, maybe we'll have a TikTok dance where you're juggling some glizzies and eating them, You never know. If that's what's trending, you got to do it.
That could be a good idea.
Yeah,
Hey, look at our hot dog video.
The throat goat going nuts,
Yeah, that could work. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week.